it's very disingenuous that not only did they purposely neglect to share the entire conversation and also the corrections that I have made from that conversation, but they're also deleting comments from their videos. And we actually have proof. All right, folks. So for today, we have a different type of video to share with you guys. This is obviously very different to the traditional content that we share here on our channel. Unfortunately, there are some lies, blaming, misinformation, and even, some words that are being misconstrued in regards to myself, Piplogic, and Pammbridge. If you're familiar with any of those names, you know that this is in reference to the automated PAM service we have been a part of since the beginning of this year. And unfortunately, what was a seamlessly flawless service for the better part of 10, 11 months, up until just a couple of weeks ago, due to some recent changes, we are now having issues where withdrawals have come to a complete halt. All right, and I'm going to shed more light into this and why in just a moment. But whenever things like this arise, this obviously pisses off a lot of people, including myself, but also when there are not a lot of answers and a lot of people are not plugged into the proper information, this opens things up for people to create their own conclusions, to try to put puzzles together and create a picture that doesn't make sense, all in efforts to either find something or someone to place the blame. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing is addressing this video in particular, created by a channel called Flowverse. And as you can see from the title, it says Piplogic Pammbridge update, no money, but Piplogic audio update. Now, as you can see, there's a picture of myself, and there's also a voice note, an audio clip from Telegram that was from a conversation between myself and this individual that he's using to imply that Piplogic, Pammbridge, and even myself are the same thing that created this entire scheme to steal people's money. Now, these are some serious allegations with zero proof or evidence whatsoever. So the purpose of this video is to clarify the lies and the misinformation being spread. We're actually going to play this entire video. All right, it's a 6-minute video. I will speed it up just a little bit to save some time. But we're going to play the whole video. That way, if you haven't seen it, you can see the lies and the misinformation that's being spread. And then I'm also going to take it a step further, and I'm going to share with you my entire conversation with this individual from where that voice note was taken from. All right. And the reason why this is so important, folks, is because as we go through this video and I share with you the information that I have, you're going to see that not only is this video highly misleading, it's inaccurate, but we're also going to expose the fact that this person who created this video is deliberately withholding information that debunks the claims that he is trying to convey. All right. So with that being said, I just want to give you a little bit of a backstory and understand my relationship between myself and Piplogic, and also to explain how Pammbridge fits into this whole thing. All right. So as many of you know, I have a YouTube channel. I'm a trader. I'm a content creator. I am an educator. I have my own trading community. And I also provide a signal service where people can follow and copy my trades. Piplogic is also a trading community. They are actually a team of traders, and they've actually been around since 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually have their own trading community. They have their own educators. They have their own master traders. They actually have analysts within their team as well. They also provide educational content with their students. They also have a community, and they also provide signals. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Well, about a year ago, I would say late 2024, I got acquainted with Piplogic for the first time. And I was very impressed with what they've been doing and for how long that they've been doing. So we basically created a partnership where I have a community where I provide signals. Piplogic has a community where they provide signals. Let's create some sort of a partnership where people can benefit from both of our signals. And this is something that you can actually verify for yourself if you go to my signals website. One of the benefits when you join, not only do you get access to my signals, but you also get access to our partner signals, aka Piplogic signals. And the whole purpose of this, folks, was just to add more value, double the signals, double the value, double the trading opportunities. And to this day, we are still doing it, right? Like I said, we've been doing this since late 2024. And to this day, we still have that partnership. We're still providing signals. And needless to say, it has been a phenomenal experience. The results have been amazing. You can actually go to my site and you can see that I have documented almost a year's worth of signals that we've called out, where you can see the accuracy of the signals provided. So I am very proud of the partnership that I have with the Piplogic community. All right. Now, where does Pammbridge fit into all of this? Well, within our trading community, and when I say trading community, I mean within our signals community, we've had a lot of people express the want or the desire to have access to some sort of automation. So after much demand, one of the master traders and educators behind the Piplogic team decided to provide a PAM service. Now, as a trader, when you want to provide a PAM, you have to provide it through a third party. What is that third party? The third party could be a broker or a website or a program that facilitates various PAMs. And that is where Pammbridge fits into this equation. Pammbridge is a website that facilitates PAM services. And because Piplogic wanted to deliver a PAM service that our community could benefit from, they decided to provide their PAM through the third party known as Pammbridge. Okay, so that's just a little bit of history of my relationship with Piplogic and how Pammbridge came into play with this whole thing. All right, because like I mentioned before, this PAM service that we introduced, and when I say we, I mean Piplogic introduced it, so of course I introduced it to my community as well, was a phenomenal service with virtually no issues up until a couple of weeks ago, where Piplogic announced that they wanted to move their PAM service away from Pammbridge and onto a regulated broker. Okay, so I'll actually pull up the message from Piplogic and I'll throw it up here on the screen so that way you can read along as well. It is a pretty long message, so depending on how it fits, I might have to just take multiple screenshots. Nevertheless, you'll still be able to read along with me. So this was on October 27th, Piplogic major update. We are transitioning from Pammbridge to said broker to achieve more flexibility and higher gains while using the same great risk management. Now, just to clarify, I'm blurting out the name of the broker because this video isn't to advertise a broker. We're just here to address the state of events that have been happening. All right. So we are leveling up again. We've officially added a custom coded EA built around our Piplogic strategy. This EA has been tested with excellent results, now trading alongside our manual team to achieve higher gains while keeping risk controlled and sustainable. And then they posted daily target and monthly protections, typical drawdown, and equity protection. Because the EA isn't compatible with Pammbridge, we'll be moving all trading to said broker, a fully regulated broker that's been around for over 8 years that runs on MetaTrader 4 and 5. We will no longer be trading on Pammbridge. Please take this time to withdraw and transfer your funds to said broker, or if you're brand new, just join directly on said broker to be ready for launch. We'll be trading on said broker this week to give everyone a preview of what our system can do, and we'll be posting performance updates throughout the week. No new investors will be accepted just yet to ensure everyone has adequate time to transfer over from Pammbridge. Minimum deposit will be $500. We've made slight adjustments to the profit share to allow for better compounding and long-term account growth. 20% profit share weekly, 2.5% monthly management fee. For those of you who are familiar with PAM services, these types of fees are pretty standard. These adjustments help support the ongoing development and management of the EA, risk systems, and tools required to sustain a 60+ monthly returns with low drawdown. Every trade, update, and system is designed for consistency, transparency, and longevity. Then they posted some instructions on how to access the Piplogic strategy on said broker. Once your account is funded, send a screenshot to the Piplogic admins as proof. You'll then receive a link to join our new VIP chat. For those requesting withdrawals through Pammbridge, please note that their team is fully aware of our transition to said broker and our official start date of November 3rd. Pammbridge has given their word that they will process withdrawals in a timely manner to ensure everyone receives their funds and can transition smoothly to our new platform. You can email them at the provided email for assistance with your withdrawal. If you are not currently trading on Pammbridge, you can fund your broker account now so you're ready to start trading and earning with us as of November 3rd. We appreciate everyone's patience supporting during this transition. This next phase will be worth it. So I wanted to share this with you guys to provide you again with context. The start of these issues. Again, the whole PAM service provided through Pammbridge was a flawless experience up until this point. Once the announcement was made that Piplogic was moving their PAM away from Pammbridge and onto a broker, obviously there was no reason for us as members to keep our money in Pammbridge. So what do? We all initiated withdrawals. Now we're talking about hundreds, if not maybe thousands of members, and in doing so, created a bank run. Now, that was posted on the 27th of October, and it's now November 14th. Very few people have received withdrawals. Everyone else, including myself, are still waiting. All right, now 3 days later, Piplogic made another announcement on the 30th. A lot of you have reached out regarding the withdrawal processing times with Pammbridge. As we mentioned before, Pammbridge has given us their word that all pending withdrawals should be processed by the 3rd. We know many of you have already moved over to a said broker, which is perfectly fine if you want to start trading right away. However, we're still hopeful that Pammbridge will honor and complete all withdrawals as processed. Please note that emailing them repeatedly won't speed things up. They're currently handling a large number of withdrawal requests, potentially hundreds, if not thousands, across the platform, and much of it is done manually. Let's give them a bit of time to process everything and hope for completion by the 3rd, right? And when I say the 3rd, I'm talking about November 3rd, so we can all continue trading profitably at said broker. For context, today we're up 3.2%, yada, yada, yada. The latest update directly from the Pammbridge team: withdrawals are being worked on, just moving a bit slower than usual due to high volume. Thank you for your patience and continued trust. So fast forward to November 3rd, there were a few people that did come forward and say that they did receive their withdrawals from Pammbridge, but for the majority of people, including myself, none of us have seen any movement whatsoever in terms of our funds. So another update was posted by Piplogic. To those of you asking why we haven't publicly said Pammbridge is a scam, this is why. People are getting their withdrawals. Some have reached out to us confirming they received their funds. Yes, a lot of you are still waiting, but it seems like slowly Pammbridge is working through the backlog. Until we have strict confirmation that withdrawals have officially stopped and no one else is being paid, we will not make a public statement labeling them as a scam or speak negatively about their team. It's unfortunate everything is taking this long, and we generally hope they speed things up soon. We're not even sure what the delay is. They just keep saying there are delays. This is why we haven't made any public statements yet, because while many are waiting, others have received their funds. So now that you have the context, we can understand the reason why there is all of this drama now. And the drama that we're going to be discussing is because all of us are waiting for withdrawals, and they're virtually not being processed, right? A few people have received it, but since then, we haven't heard any word of anyone else receiving their funds. And while it's understandable that people want answers, and people might even come up with their own conclusions, it is a slippery slope where people start to make accusations and baseless claims without any evidence. And specifically about an individual who I have had a private conversation with on Telegram, who is not only misconstruing my words, but is also purposely leaving out information in order to support his narrative, blaming myself, Piplogic, and Pammbridge for this whole mess. So with that being said, folks, I'm going to play this video. And in this video, he's going to play a voice note that was shared privately within our Telegram conversation. We're going to watch the whole video, but then I'm going to show you the entire Telegram conversation, the entire thread of everything that we have said. So that way you can see he is misinterpreting my words while at the same time neglecting and withholding prior information that I've shared with this person. You can see the title that says Piplogic Pammbridge Update, no money, but Piplogic Audio Update. Okay. And by audio, he is referring to the Telegram voice note within our private conversation. So I'm going to increase the playback speed just a little bit to save some time. But like I said, guys, we're going to watch the whole video. We're going to listen to everything, and then we're going to dive into the entire conversation.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing okay out there. I just wanted to give you a quick midweek update. Pip has made a post, so I'll read that to you, but we've also got something quite interesting to share that all of you need to hear. So here we go. Hello all. If we haven't posted an update here, there isn't one. We're giving Pammbridge another week to get back to everyone before we send an update in here on next steps and how we believe everyone who hasn't received funds should move forwards.
All right, so just to give you a little bit of context, what he's doing right now is reading one of the most recent updates at the time from the Piplogic Telegram.
For those of you who were able to join our next, DM us to get the group chat link. So it's been 2.5 weeks so far. We've got another week to wait. So who knows what the holdup could be. But Mr. Piplogic himself has an audio to share with us. So, and you want to hear this. So here we go. I'll just play it for you.
All right. Did you hear what he just said? He just said Mr. Piplogic himself has an audio. He's calling me Piplogic. He's saying that I am Piplogic. I don't know how he thinks I am Piplogic because, like I mentioned before, guys, and this is why context is so important. And you guys can verify this for yourself. Like I said earlier, that Piplogic is a trading community that I have partnered with in terms of sharing signals so that way people have access to my signals and their signals as well. They are a trading community. I am an individual, right? The idea of labeling me or insinuating that I am Piplogic just doesn't make sense because everyone who is familiar with my content, who is familiar with my channel, you see who I am. You know my name. I have my face in all of my services. Every program, every strategy, every educational content, every automated system that we have tested over the years, everything that I have been a part of, that I have talked about publicly on my channel, I have done it with my face and my name. There is no, like, I don't understand how that makes sense, how he thinks that I am also Piplogic. So what, I'm partnered with myself? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. Like, why would I even do that? Like, let's just say if that was even possible, why would I hide behind a Piplogic community while at the same time showing my face? Like, all right, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting a little. I just get annoyed. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. That this is how far gone these statements are, and the fact that this person is spreading rumors and statements that I am somehow Piplogic just comes to show you how disconnected this person is. He doesn't have the right information. He doesn't know the facts, which is already discrediting the accusations and misinformation that he's spreading. You're going to see how weird this all gets, right? So let me just rewind that so that way you can hear it.
But Mr. Piplogic himself has an audio to share with us. So, and you want to hear this. So here we go. I'll just play it for you.
Here and happy to explain so that way you further understand, how this service works. So yes, we do know the people behind Piplogic, behind the the master trader that is in charge of the trading. He's been doing this for a very long time. So to kind of give you a little bit of background, so I've had students. I've been teaching people how to trade forex and binary options for a few years. Last year, I created a separate service where for those who are just interested in copying signals, right, following my.
By the way, guys, just in case if you don't know, that is me. That is my voice note. That is my voice. These are my words that he is playing. But again, he's insinuating that I am Mr. Piplogic. But again, just wanted to clarify that.
But not really interested in learning how to trade, I created a separate service because before, in order to access my signals and follow my trades, you had to be a student, right? You had to subscribe and be a student of my course. But there are many people who just want access to copying signals and trade ideas without actually learning how to trade. So that's where I created my signal service only last year. Now, towards the end of last year, I connected with a few colleagues that I've known throughout my trading journey because I've been trading for 10 years now since I started in 2015. So I connected with some colleagues that I had first met in 2020, right? Just before COVID. And these people behind Piplogic, which again, are the colleagues that I'm referencing to, they have their own trading community. They have their own courses. They have their own signals.
All right, just want to pause. And like I said, I'm going to show you the entire conversation so you can see why I sent this voice note in the first place. He wanted to understand what the relationship was between myself and Piplogic and the service. So that's why I'm kind of giving him this whole little bit of a backstory and back history. But again, we're going to go through the entire conversation so you can see how this voice note and everything else that he's conveniently hiding all comes into play.
They have their own courses. They have their own signal services. They also have a few other online businesses where they teach and mentor people outside of trading as well. So they've been doing this for a long time. Well, towards the end of last year of 2024, I connected with some of them again that I have known since 2020. And we decided to create a partnership where we basically combined our signal services. So as someone who joins my signal service, for someone who just wants access to my signals to follow my trades, not only do you get access to my signal services, but you also get access to the signals provided by Piplogic. So it's a double value in a sense where you get access to more trade ideas and more signal services, and you also get access to our signals round the clock. So no matter what time zone you live in, you'll always be able to access some of our trade ideas. So we've been doing very, very well over the last year, where a lot of people have been asking if there was a way that we could introduce a form of auto trading, automation, right? Because not everyone has time to, be on their phone and copying our signals at the time that these signals are sent out. And that is where the Piplogic automation through Pammbridge comes into play. One of the master traders from our partners, it created the platform so that way we can subscribe to the automation where it's set up as a PAM. Right?
All right. So did you hear those words, right? Those are my words, right? I'm not denying that this isn't me and that these aren't my words, but did you hear the choice of words that I made, right? And let me just rewind that.
Into play. One of the master traders from our partners, it created the platform so that way we can subscribe to the automation where it's set up as a PAM, right? A PAM service. He does the trading.
All right. As you heard me say, right? Because I'm not denying these are my words. I said they created the platform to provide the PAM service. Unfortunately, and this is my fault because it's my bad choice of words, because of this clip, there is a rumor now spreading that Piplogic created Pammbridge. All right. And again, we can listen to it again so that way you can hear why. And it's understandable why people would come to that conclusion. And this is why it's also important that I create this video to address this misconstrued reality. I'm not denying this is my voice note. These are my words. But I want you guys to understand, folks, that that is not at all what I meant. What I meant from that statement is that Piplogic created the opportunity where, again, many people within our signal services have been requesting if there was any form of automation that could be introduced into the community. So one of the master traders behind the Piplogic community decided to open up and manage a PAM service within Pammbridge in order to facilitate and provide that service into our community. So again, my meaning was that they created the opportunity, not that they created Pammbridge, but that they created the opportunity to provide a PAM that we could partake in. I'm going to give you an example. And this is a true example, right? So this isn't something I'm just, creating. This is a true example. I personally have created a platform so people can access my signals. All right. How do people access my signals? Through third parties like Discord and Telegram. Now, in this example, Discord and Telegram are the third parties. Just like Pammbridge is a third-party PAM facilitator, Discord and Telegram as the third-party facilitator from where I provide my signals. When I say I created a platform to provide signals, does that mean I created Discord? No, it doesn't. So I hope that makes sense. With that being said, it's the same thing with Piplogic and Pammbridge. Granted, poor choice of words on my part, which we will clarify with the full conversation. But again, this is just to clarify. Piplogic made the decision to provide a PAM service. But again, like I said earlier, in order to provide a PAM service, you have to use a third party, which would be a broker or a facilitator of PAMs, which in this case was Pammbridge. All right. I didn't create it, and neither did Piplogic. So I hope that makes sense. And granted, you could argue all you want about, well, those are your words, that is what you said, and this is why people are thinking that Piplogic created Pammbridge. Granted, I will give you that. But this is why we are also going to go into the full conversation from where this voice note came from. And I'm going to show you that I specifically state the complete opposite, that Piplogic and Pammbridge are not the same thing, that one did not create the other, that Piplogic has no control over Pammbridge, and how this person playing this voice note conveniently and knowingly left all that information out. So, but let's continue.
Right, a PAM service. He does the trading, and based off of his performance, it is copied onto our accounts. So that is how it works, and that is how the system itself works and how it was introduced. So this isn't something that, we just found out of the blue, because you're right, there have been various services in the past, but they're always from faceless people that we don't know. These are individuals that I have known for a few years, which again, they've had their own trading services, their own.
In reference to the people that I've known for a few years, this is in relation to Piplogic, who again, I partnered with at the end of 2024, but I was connected to by a colleague of mine who is associated with the Piplogic community, whom I have known for a few years.
Trading education, their own students, their own mentorship, their own signals, and they have a proven track record. And not to mention that they have also provided PAM services through other brokers over the years before brokers started losing their MetaTrader licenses. due to regulations with Russia, United States, UK, and things like that, they have provided these PAMs on brokers like Lyronex and MVFX. So yeah, this is why we created the Pammbridge Piplogic automation, is to just add a level of automation to the.
Let's rewind that one more time. All right. And this is actually a problem that I, honestly didn't know I have until this issue. Notice how I always say we a lot. I say we.
We created the Pammbridge Piplogic automation, is to just add a level of.
We created the Piplogic Pammbridge automation. I mean, if there wasn't any more incriminating evidence than that, I mean, no wonder why people are coming up with these assumptions. Now, granted, I say we a lot in this audio, but not just in this audio. I say we all the time in all of my public content. My videos are trading education. We talk about strategies. We talk about structure. We talk about analysis. We talk about different methods of trading and market structure. And in all of those videos, literally all of those videos, I am always saying we for some reason. I don't know why. It is just a habit of mine that has honestly never been brought to my attention up until now. And the reason why I say we, it's because I'm talking to you, right? We're going to use this indicator. We're waiting for price to reach this area in the market. We're going to buy here. We're going to sell here. I always say we because even though it's just me, but I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the collective audience that watches my videos. Very poor choice of words because we didn't create anything. Very poor choice of words on my part. And again, I understand how people can listen to this. People outside who don't have access to the full conversation can listen to this and be like, oh, wow. So he's in on it. Piplogic's in on it. Pammbridge is in on it. They're probably all in it together. When I can understand why you can make these assumptions, but I'm telling you right now, folks, not what I meant. And again, we're going to show you the whole conversation because that way you can see from where this voice note came from. There's a whole conversation where I've specifically stated the contrary, that Piplogic and Pammbridge are not the same thing, that Piplogic did not create Pammbridge, that Piplogic has no control over Pammbridge. And conveniently, that part of the conversation was left out and only shared a fraction of the conversation here in the video. But again, I understand the confusion because it is very poor choice of words on my part. And for that, I am sorry, because for anyone outside of this who has heard this, this is obviously going to just instill more doubt and distrust. This is why I feel like this is very important that I make this video, because I want to clarify things and make sure that people fully understand the mistake that I made, but also understand the full context of the entire conversation. All right, so let's finish up this video.
Okay, so there we are. So basically, what Paul's saying over here is that the Pammbridge trading platform, the one that we were all using, heavily invested in, wasn't some outside system being run by a broker. According to him, it was actually created by one of their so-called partners. That means they weren't just using a platform, that people inside it, they built it, controlled it, and set it up as a PAM service, so everyone's money was tied into their automation. Let that sink in for a second. Okay, I'll leave you with that, and leave your comments below. It'd be great to hear from you.
All right. I want you guys to let that sink in, because now let's dive into the conversation. But also, I want to share with you as well. He also made a comment that a lot of people heavily invested into the Pammbridge platform, right, to access the Piplogic PAM. I am one of those people that heavily invested. And I'm actually going to show you, here is my account. This is the back office of the Pammbridge. This is my personal account, which, as you could see, with the pending withdrawal on the top right-hand corner, I have just over $60,000 stuck in this platform. I'm on the same boat with everyone else that we made the decision to invest money into Pammbridge to access the Piplogic PAM. And unfortunately, because of the recent changes, Pammbridge is taking their sweet time in terms of honoring the withdrawals. And here's the sucky part, at least for me. I cannot do anything with the remaining $59,000 I have stuck in my wallet until my measly $1,000 withdrawal gets processed, because the way that the system works is you can only process one withdrawal at a time. And this $1,000 withdrawal is still in a pending status that hasn't been processed. So until I receive my $1,000 withdrawal, I can do nothing with the remaining $59,000. All right. So now that we've watched this ridiculous video, let's open up Telegram. And again, the audio clip that was played on the YouTube video is from this conversation. Now, to be honest, guys, I cannot fully prove whether or not this person who I had the conversation with on Telegram is the same person behind this YouTube video. Obviously, we could hear his voice on YouTube, but I don't have any voice notes on Telegram to verify what this person sounds like. So we have one of two different scenarios here. Either this person on Telegram either shared or leaked my voice note from our conversation to this individual, and in doing so did it without my permission, or they are the same person. So we're going to read everything starting from the very beginning, from the first time he messaged me back on the 15th of May. And you guys can read along. Hi, I have a question. I'm in your automation Pammbridge and subscribe to Piplogic. I found substantial documentation indicating that Piplogic is very experienced. However, I haven't been able to find enough information about the Pammbridge platform. My question is, do you personally know the person behind this platform? And can you confidently say that it's 100% legitimate? Good afternoon, TJ. My name is Paul. It's nice to meet you. Sorry for the late reply. I meant to reply to you earlier, but it's been a busy week. Yes, this is a legitimate platform. And yes, we do know the people trading the PAM. If you don't mind, I'll send you a voice note so I can better explain in detail. All right. So keywords that I want you to pay attention to here. Yes, I did say that they were legitimate. Why did I say that they were legitimate? Because like I said earlier, and like every other member can attest to, from the beginning of this year, when the PAM was first introduced, up until just a couple of weeks ago, we've had zero issues. Everything was flawless. The trading, the performance, the ability to access our profits, to compound our profits, to withdraw our profits, to have access to our money and withdraw whenever we wanted. This was a function and a service that was flawless up until a couple of weeks ago. So at this point, during the month of May, when this person is asking me if this is a legitimate platform, yeah, I am going to tell them that it's a legitimate platform because we have no other evidence that indicates otherwise, right? Now, I also stated, and this is very important, yes, we do know the people trading the PAM. Keyword, trading the PAM. I didn't say we know the people behind Pammbridge. I say we know the people trading the PAM. Who's trading the PAM? One of the master traders from the Piplogic community. Yes, please. By the way, nice to meet you. No worries. I'm happy that you replied. So I'm skeptical because I've been following you for a long time and I've seen you talk about other automated projects that didn't go well. Some turned out to be scams, others went bankrupt. So this time I want to make sure you know each other and can clarify that none of those issues will happen again. So he's referencing to some past programs that I've openly, talked about here on our channels. Some of you might even be familiar with some of these projects like Novatech that ran for 4 years, almost 5 years before they collapsed. And actually, fun fact, they collapsed when everyone started withdrawing their funds because there was a panic in the markets. People started rushing withdrawing their funds, which is basically what we are dealing with now with Pammbridge, because when the announcement was made that the PAM was being moved over to the broker, everybody started withdrawing their funds from Pammbridge. And where we were once, experiencing a flawless service, we're now starting to see delays, right? But then there were other programs like COTPS and even one of the most recent ones known as Traj, which some of you might be familiar with. Traj was a crypto trading platform that was actually registered. They actually filed with the SEC, right? A regulatory body. And they actually ran for about 7 or 8 months until eventually the SEC shut them down. They were like, nope, you can't do the service. And they shut everything down. So that's what he's referencing to in terms of, past projects that didn't work out. So he's asking for reassurances that it's not going to happen again. So I sent him a voice note, and I believe this is the voice note that he played in the YouTube video. So let's actually just make sure. Hey, TJ. So happy to connect with you here and happy to explain so that way you further understand, how this service works. So yes, we do know the people behind Piplogic, behind the the master trader that is in charge of the trading. He's been doing this for a very long time. So to kind of give you, this is the same voice note played on the YouTube video. So I just want to play it here, guys. So again, we could just verify that we're all on the same page. This service works. So yes, we do know
the people behind Piplogic, behind the the master trader that is in charge of the trading. He's been doing this for a very long time. So to kind of
right. So we don't need to listen to the whole thing because we've already listened to it when we played the YouTube video. But I am going to just fast forward to the very end, so that way you can see that it starts and it ends exactly the same, and verifying that this is the same voice note.
So yeah, this is why we created the Pammbridge Piplogic automation, is to just add a level of automation to the services that we already provide and from a community that we all know. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that wasn't too confusing. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me anytime.
All right. So again, let's just fast forward to the end.
I hope that wasn't too confusing. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me anytime.
As you can see, same voice note, right? And again, in that voice note, I'm explaining how we know and we are familiar with the people in the community behind the PAM. In other words, not Pammbridge, but who's trading the PAM, which in this case is one of the master traders from Piplogic. Thanks a lot for taking the time to explain those points. It really helps clear a lot of things. You're very welcome. One more question. I know you guys are experienced, but based on past experiences where negative things happen, can you guarantee that those situations won't be repeated? I'm putting my hard-earned money into this, so I need to be 100% confident about where it's going. All right. Within reason, you can see that this person is someone who is very nervous, right? He's been burned before, so he wants to make sure that he is putting money into something that isn't going to belly up, right? But notice how he's looking, right, with the past messages. He's looking for reassurances. He's looking to see if it's 100% legitimate. He's looking for guarantees. So I respond with the following message.
It's a very good point, TJ. And yeah, I mean, you are putting you're not putting your hard-earned money. You're contemplating on putting your hard-earned money. And that's exactly what all of us have done. We are all of us have put in our hard-earned money into this. But to answer your question, the simplest question to your answer is no. I cannot give you a guarantee. And you might be wondering, well, if I believe in this and I support this and I'm invested in it and we're dealing with real trading and real people, because that's exactly what this is. These are real people, real colleagues who are conducting real trading. If this is real, then why can't I provide a guarantee? And it's simple. There's no such thing as a guarantee in trading, okay? Trading is no different than any other investment or business venture. Very similar to if you were to invest in a stock, in a company, if you were to invest in building a business or invest in another business or into real estate. All right. Just like trading, these are all ventures where you are putting money into something with the efforts of potentially getting something in return. Okay. Whenever there is any form of investment or trading, always carries risk. And what does that mean? What does carrying risk mean? Risk means that yes, on one hand, you can make money. On another hand, you can lose money. All right. What we are dealing with here is real. It is conducted properly in terms of risk management. Some days we do very, very well, and some days we don't do any trading depending on what's going on in the markets. And you'll see this from the activities that we have posted in our Telegram channel. There's always variables that come into play with any venture. So when you ever see platforms, and we actually learned this the hard way because we have tested many platforms out there in the past that guarantee that you're going to make 1% a day, 0.5% a day, 2% per day, right? Those all sound amazing. And
that was in reference of like the past platforms that I mentioned before about like Novatech. Novatech didn't guarantee results, but what was it? COTPS did, and so did what was the other one? Traj, right? Those are platforms that guaranteed fixed rates of results, and we learned the hard way that those platforms are unsustainable and eventually they belly up.
And to a point, they can be, but they do not last long because it's unrealistic and it's not sustainable. The reason why I say this is real trading is because we're dealing with actual people, actual colleagues, and we're trading the markets, but the experience.
Again, this is in reference to Piplogic in terms of the colleagues, in terms of the real traders. That's Piplogic, not Pammbridge.
From a day-to-day basis is going to be different. Some days we make, over 1%. Some days we make less than 1%. Some days, like earlier this week, we made over 5% for the week, right? But then there are some days where we don't make anything. And it's not because we're losing. It's because it's too risky. There's too much volatility. There's news events that are happening for that day that can, induce a lot of erratic behavior in the market. So sometimes it's just best not to trade. And we post all these updates in our Telegram channel, the free one that's open for everyone to monitor. So this is why I say it's real. But are there risks? Absolutely. Are there guarantees? Absolutely not. I will honestly say to you that if you are looking for something that is safe or something that is guaranteed, I'm going to be honest with you, that doesn't exist. And if anyone ever says, oh yeah, this is 100% safe or throws the word guarantee at you, run. It sounds great, but run because those platforms do not work, or it's just some guy trying to swindle you. I love this opportunity. I love what we have here in terms of our signals, in terms of the Pammbridge automation. What we have here is fantastic, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anyone.
See how I say we again? But again, it's the collective we, because I have a trading community. Piplogic has a trading community. We partner together to provide signals collectively. And in doing so, eventually Piplogic introduced the PAM, right, through Pammbridge. And we ended up sharing that within our community. So again, this is one of those instances of why I'm always saying we.
That we are dealing with trading and there are risks involved. So it's up to you and anyone really who is interested in our services to understand that and then decide for yourself if this is something worthwhile. What I suggest you do, okay, and this is just my suggestion because at the end of the day, it's your choice. What I would recommend that you do is, if you haven't already, actually, let me just scroll up and see. Okay, I don't think you're in our Telegram chat. What I suggest you do is join our free Telegram room where I post daily updates in regards to the progress of our trading. From there, you can scroll through all the past updates that I posted. And that way you can see how we've been performing. You can also see for yourself, what it is that we do on a day-to-day basis in terms of, did we trade today? Did we not trade today? If we didn't trade today, why didn't we trade today? Because we post all that. And then you can decide if you want to join. And if you do decide to join, then you can, start with something small. The minimum amount to join is only $100, okay? You can put in any amount that you want. You can put in more funds into your accounts whenever you want. But if you want to just start with something small, you can do that, right? Again, minimum is only 100. And as time goes by, whether it be a few days, a few weeks, and you see what you like, then you can decide to add more funds. Or, if you don't like it, then you can always withdraw your funds and leave if whatever's best for you. So
all right. So, by the way, guys, I do apologize that a lot of this conversation or the voice notes and what I'm saying in these voice notes doesn't necessarily pertain to, the main topic of hand of Piplogic, Pammbridge, and the issue that's happening. But I want to play everything to show you that we're not hiding anything from this conversation. So after that voice note, he says, thank you for clarifying my doubts. Your explanation makes a lot of sense. I'm really sorry to keep asking, but when I requested a withdrawal for 305 from Pammbridge, I only received 300. Actually, I don't even know why he said that. Why did he say, I'm really sorry for keep asking this? This is the first time he asked me, whatever. I'm not sure why, although I know most platforms charge around $1 as a transfer fee. I emailed them, but it's been a week and I haven't received any reply. So can you explain the possible reason for the $5 deduction? Was it really a transfer fee or something else? I also asked Piplogic, thinking that they were behind the Pammbridge admin panel, but they told me to email Pammbridge instead. So yeah, I haven't received an answer from either side. All right. So right here, folks, all right, from this statement, he is already showing that he believes Piplogic and Pammbridge are together, that they are the same thing. And again, I don't blame him because of the prior voice notes where I used the wrong words. But as this conversation progresses, I replied with, good morning, TJ. Sorry, away for the weekend. I'll reply when I'm home. Thank you for your reply. Eagerly waiting for your answer. And then I respond, hey, TJ, no. Piplogic does not control Pammbridge. All right. So this is where I'm starting to clarify the misunderstanding between the assumption that Piplogic and Pammbridge are the same thing, or that they're connected, or that they created. So again, I wrote here, no, Piplogic does not control Pammbridge. So this is one little detail, all right, a very important detail this individual neglected to share in the video. So again, I responded with, no, Piplogic doesn't control Pammbridge. What crypto did you send? Then he replies with, it's controlled by one of the master traders from your partners, ? I've already stated that Piplogic does not control Pammbridge. So now he's asking if Pammbridge is controlled by the master trader from your partners, AKA Piplogic. All right. So let's scroll down. I'm going to blur this section because he sent me a screenshot of his email. I don't want to share that publicly. So he stated that here's the document showing that I requested 305, but only received 300 in my wallet. I'll ask my contact. And I answered no in regards to his question. He asked if Pammbridge was controlled by the master trader from Piplogic. So I answered no. And then I followed up with a voice note.
So no, the master trader for Piplogic, the only thing that person has control of is the master account for the PAM. That is it. They do not control Pammbridge. Pammbridge is a portal. All right, it is a third-party source or a third-party company that provides PAMs. Piplogic is just one of the PAMs provided within Pammbridge. The master trader only has access and control of the PAM itself. They do not have control over Pammbridge.
So these are two very important details. Again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but yes, you can say from the original voice note that was played here on the YouTube video, which we also played in the Telegram message, I misspoke and I didn't use the proper words. But even after that statement was made, it was clarified multiple times, written and through voice notes, that Piplogic and Pammbridge are separate. Piplogic does not control Pammbridge. Therefore, Piplogic did not create Pammbridge at all. Pammbridge is a third-party facilitator for various PAMs that Piplogic decided to use in order to offer and provide their PAM. That is it. So then he responds, I'm eagerly waiting for their answer in regards to, the information about his withdrawal. So who controls Pammbridge in person, right? No, that is not true. And I've said this numerous times. I have a relationship with Piplogic. I have a partnership with Piplogic. We have a shared community with Piplogic. My relationship is with Piplogic, not Pammbridge. Thanks a lot for the answer. It's such a relief to know that you know him personally in regards to Piplogic. So there's no chance of getting scammed. I don't like how he said this. There's no chance of getting scammed. I never said that there's no chance of getting scammed. Where did I ever say that in the conversations that we have gone through so far? Earlier, we just listened to a voice note that I sent them talking about how nothing is guaranteed, that there's always risks involved in that. With any opportunity where you're going to put money in to potentially make money, there's the risk of loss, right? So I don't know why he's, kind of coming back full circle, asking these same questions over and over again, and then, making a statement, there's no chance of getting scammed. I never said that, right? And you can witness that nothing of that sort was ever said by me. All right. So I followed up with another voice note.
Just to give you a little bit of a background. So I've been actually providing trading education and trading services for a couple of years, where I actually have students within my community whom I teach forex. And
so basically this voice note, I'm repeating what I have already told them before. But again, guys, I'm just going to play the whole thing because, I want to make sure that we're listening and reading everything. All right.
Options. Now, one of the benefits that I provide for my students is signals, right, where people can follow and copy my own trade ideas specifically for trading gold. Well, at some point early last year, I decided to create a separate service for those who are not really interested in, learning how to trade. They just want access to signals because, again, in order to access my signals, originally you had to be a student. But I decided to create something where people would just access my signals without, having to access the trading education, which of course is not something that everyone is interested in. So I've been doing that for the better part of, specifically the signal service, for the better part of a year. And excuse me. And then toward the end of last year, 2024, I ended up getting reacquainted with.
Again, guys, I'm just repeating myself at this point because, he's asking a lot of the same questions. And, honestly, sometimes when I have a lot of messages, I forget what I have said to certain people. So there are times where I might repeat myself. So the fact that he's asking all of these questions and kind of circling with the same questions or the same type of questions and looking for reassurances, this is why I am reiterating again my relationship and my connection between myself and Piplogic.
Some colleagues of mine that I have known since 2020 or 2021. I don't remember, but yeah, it's been about 4 or 5 years. And this is a couple of the admins that I've known from that are currently behind Piplogic. So they have actually been doing something very similar that I've been doing over the years. They have their own trading community, they have their own education, they have their own signals and different types of services for trading. So basically, towards the end of the year, we decided to partner up. And at the time, I used to charge, I think it was like depending on the signals, it was like $250 to $500. To access the signals group. But through this partnership, we decided, let's remove the entry fee and let's just make it free. And the only requirement is to, sign up with our broker. So the benefit of joining through my signals group with my link is not only do you get access to my signals, but you also get access to the signals provided by Piplogic and their content. So basically you're getting double the value, double the content. And yeah, so it was a great incentive that has been, and we've been doing very, very well over these past, I think it's been 6 over 7 months now since our partnership. So yeah, we've been doing very, very well. But even so, signals, or I should say the concept of copying signals is very easy, but of course, everyone has different schedules, different lives, different, levels of, busy days. So a lot of people have been asking if there was some way that they could leverage automation, right? In addition to copying the signals, to have something automated that can, allow them to earn passive automated profits throughout the week. And this is where one of the admins from Piplogic, again, from our signal community, from our trading community, decided to open up and provide the Piplogic PAM through Pammbridge. So that is where this all ties into play. So this isn't just some.
All right, hold on. Let me just rewind that one more time.
And this is where one of the admins from Piplogic, again, from our signal community, from our trading community, decided to open up and provide the Piplogic PAM through Pammbridge.
Decided to open up the PAM through Pammbridge, right? So that way they can facilitate the service for us to participate in.
So that is where this all ties into play. So this isn't just some random like, oh, here we found this, PAM service. If you're interested, check it out. No, this is actually conducted by one of the admins within the Piplogic, where the very same community that we've been providing signals and training education for several months. This is where we incorporated, and this is where the Piplogic automation came into any of our goals. We signal.
All right, so at this point, it's going to sound distorted. I'm still going to play it so that we can see that we're playing the full message. But yeah, it just gets distorted because I think I just had bad service.
That we found, and then we still have you can still sound leveragable. Just like really want signals have to work out, what to mess up. So the script box, it's on so it's everyone. It's a choice they want to do one or that's.
Yeah. All right. So then he messages me again saying that he was still waiting for an answer. And this is in regards to his question about the $300 withdrawal, that he withdrew 305, but only received 300.
Hey, TJ, sorry about that. My contact is actually traveling. I meant to tell you that yesterday, so I haven't actually heard from her in the last 12 hours because of her travels. We're in different time zones. So she did say she would get to me at some point today, hopefully with a little bit more clarity on that transaction. Hey, good morning, TJ.
Thank you for letting me know the situation. Let me know if you find the information from your contact about the $5 deduction for my transaction.
Hey, good morning, TJ. I'm so sorry. I meant to get back to you a lot sooner. I just forgot. It was a busy weekend. I'm not sure if you're in the United States or not, but it was a holiday weekend, so we had a nice long weekend. We had family over, etc. So yeah, needless to say, I completely forgot, and I do apologize. So anyway, I did reach out to my contact, and they explained, excuse me, in regards to your transaction where you withdrew 305, but you only received 300. All this comes down to is fees, and the fees can come from your exchange. It can also be processed through the payment processor as well. The company that allows the transaction between a software and your exchange. So fees are always deducted from various transactions, and that is the only way. Because at the end of the day, Pammbridge does not take fees. So if there's ever fees deducted, then yeah, it's usually from the broker and or the payment processor as well. That is how they make money. That is how, excuse me, not brokers, but exchanges. That is how exchanges make money, and that is how payment processors make money as well.
All right.
Hey, good morning, TJ.
All right, so I clarified the issue about his withdrawal, and then about a month later, he sent me a screenshot of a deposit that he made with our partner broker to access our signals. So from June 30th, I didn't hear from him until the 29th of October, which was a couple of days after Piplogic made the announcement that they were moving their PAM away from Pammbridge and onto the regulated broker. So I wanted to get your honest opinion on something. Since you know Piplogic and I actually came across their automation through you, I wanted to ask, Piplogic mentioned that their new EA system on said broker, combined with the professional trading team, the daily target is around 4 to 5%, and the monthly goal is 60% with around a 10% drawdown. From your experience and knowledge of how they trade, which to clarify, folks, I don't know how they trade in terms of their strategies. I just know how they trade in terms of their past performances, which if you've seen any of our videos, while they were providing their PAM service through Pammbridge, we were averaging between 1 and 2%. Some days we earned less than 1%, but that was their daily profit average target was between 1 and 2%. So he's now asking if it's possible or feasible that they could deliver, 4 or 5%. From your experience and knowledge of how they trade, does that sound realistic and sustainable, or do you think they might be overstating the potential returns a bit? Just wanted to hear your perspective before I move my funds over, which I responded with a voice note.
Hey, TJ. So yeah, based off the projections, is it possible? Yes. But do I know for certain that they themselves can do it? I have no idea. Why? Because I've only known Piplogic in terms of their performance and their automation and their signals just as long as everyone else in the community has, right? So obviously anyone can say that this is what they're going to deliver, but when the time comes, that's when, we'll see whether or not it can come to fruition or not. Honestly, I would love to see 4 to 5%. Is that possible traditionally speaking, or generally speaking from a trader's perspective? Yes, it is. But there are obviously different variables that will come into play, volatility, news events, things like that might hinder or prevent us from being able to trade on those days or whatnot, right? So is it possible? Yes, but I never put full stock into what people say they're going to do. I like to put more stock in what they are capable of doing when those actions come to fruition. So yeah, time will tell. And honestly, I'm pretty excited about this. Here's one thing I will say, 4 to 5% daily profits. Will we see that every day? No, we might see less, right? Just like before with the old automation system, their daily profit targets were 1 to 2%, right? But we had many days where we would earn less than 1%. But we also had other days where we earned more than 1 or 2 or 3%, right? So I think it's honestly going to vary because we are dealing with markets, but still excited.
All right, so that was on November 2nd, and then I didn't hear back from him until today, the day that I am recording this video. So he messaged me saying that he wanted to ask me something about Pammbridge and their withdrawals. Before I joined Pammbridge's Piplogic automation, I asked you about Pammbridge and its legitimacy. You said it was a legitimate platform, which is true. I did. He asked me if it was legitimate, and I said yes, right? Because at the time, there was no reason to doubt otherwise, because everything that we were experiencing was perfect. It was flawless in terms of not just the results and the reflections of our accounts, but also the ability to deposit, transfer, compound, and withdraw anytime we wanted. It was flawless. So, of course, why wouldn't I say they were legitimate unless there was cause of doubt, which at the time there wasn't. So you said it was a legitimate platform, and when I asked you if you knew who was behind Pammbridge in person, you said you did. So now my question is, since you know about Pammbridge and the people behind it, can you please tell me why they're holding almost everyone's withdrawals for no reason? In this entire conversation, guys, right? We started from the beginning, from our first messages, which was what, back in May? And here we are, November 13th. When did I ever say that I know the people behind Pammbridge? I never did. I have stated numerous times that I have a relationship and that I know Piplogic. Piplogic, not Pammbridge. Good morning, TJ. You're mixing information. And then I proceeded to show him a screenshot of my account, right? This is my account right here, guys, okay? I've already showed you this before, but I'll show it to you again. The reason why I shared this with him is because he's asking as if I am behind this somehow. I don't. My relationship is with Piplogic, not Pammbridge, and to also show that I am like everyone else on the same boats where we all have money stuck in this account and we're waiting for our funds to be released. But after I sent him that, he was asking me to explain. And I said I would explain in a moment, and I didn't reply anything after that. And the reason why I didn't reply is because that is when I realized this was the person of whom I had shared that voice note that was played on this YouTube video. Do I know this person is the same as the person who created this YouTube video? I don't know. I can't prove that for certain. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see from that entire conversation, yes, there were some words that I had stated that were incorrect, but they were then corrected with voice notes and with text stating specifically that Piplogic and Pammbridge are not the same, that Piplogic and Pammbridge are separate entities, that Piplogic did not create Pammbridge, that Piplogic has no control over Pammbridge, that Pammbridge is a third-party service provider that facilitates PAMs, and Piplogic used Pammbridge to provide their PAM service so that way they could provide it in our community. I know this is a long video, folks, and I do apologize, but I want to provide context and I wanted to provide the full information that this individual, whether it's the same person from Telegram or not, neglected to share. Whoever Flowverse is, whether it's the same person or not, we don't know. But what I find interesting is that not only did they only take one of the many voice notes from a very long message thread to convey his own message, but he also started making false accusations and lies, insinuating that I am Piplogic, which of course just doesn't make sense. But I've also noticed that in addition to neglecting to share the entire message and the entire conversation, when you scroll down, we have noticed there are people who have commented on the videos, either defending me, defending Piplogic, or just stating that it could just be miscommunication or misunderstanding. This person is deleting those messages. And we actually have proof of a couple. We weren't able to catch them all, but here's one screenshot. For privacy purposes, I'll hide their name, where it says that I'm in the same group and I've heard Paul say many times in the past, Piplogic and Pammbridge are not the same people. Not sure where you got this message, and I'm assuming they're referencing the voice note, but it sounds like he could have unintentionally misspoke. If so, this video is just causing unfair drama. It's a shitty situation with Pammbridge, but at least Piplogic is trying to do the right thing. That's one message where, as you can see, if you scroll down, it's deleted. It's been removed. We also have another one here, which I hope you guys will be able to read. He didn't mean Piplogic created Pammbridge platform. He meant they created their strategy on Pammbridge. That is correct. Just like they created one on said broker. If he did say Pip created it, Clearly, there was miscommunication. They are traders, not brokers. Plus, use common sense. If Piplogic created Pammbridge, why would they not create a new platform and do the same thing again? Why go to a regulated broker? Please use common sense and stop making up stories in hopes of finding your funds. Nobody rug pulls and then goes to a regulated broker and still actively sends signals. They rug pull and disappear. Put this energy towards Pammbridge and leave the hardworking team at Piplogic alone. Also, you shouldn't be coming down on affiliates when all they did was try to help and share what was working for them. And that's very true. So again, that comment, when you scroll down, that comment has also been removed, right? Now, this makes me wonder, why? Why remove those comments? Why delete those comments? Right? If you're genuinely creating this video because you're looking for answers and clarity, why delete the comments? I mean, obviously, these are comments that don't align with his points. And you'll also notice that the comments that he does keep are either ones that agree with him or just don't disagree with him at all. Right? So it's very disingenuous that not only did they purposely neglect to share the entire conversation and also the corrections that I have made from that conversation, clarifying that Piplogic and Pammbridge are completely separate, but they're also deleting comments from their video. So it makes me wonder what their intentions are.
And, that's a very good question to ask. What is his motivation? By his, I mean Flowverse. Assuming he's one of the many members like myself who have invested in Pammbridge and now his money is stuck in the platform. So obviously he's upset, and rightfully so. If your intentions are to find answers and help the community, why are you purposely withholding key details and context from the full conversation, while at the same time you're deleting comments from anyone who doesn't agree with your point of view? That doesn't look like someone who has the right intentions. That looks like someone who just wants to spread misinformation and cause drama for whatever reasons may be. Right? Not saying that that's what you're doing, but based off of the actions of hiding information, deleting comments, and more importantly, refusing to share the full context of the conversation, it's just very disingenuous. Hey guys, so just a quick update. We actually realized as we were doing this video, the person behind Flowverse actually released another video titled Piplogic Pammbridge Update November 15th, another audio to share. And as you could see, the entire video, less than 5 minutes, and he shares another audio clip from my conversation with TJ, the one that I've been sharing with you. Now, to specify, the audio clip that he shares in this video is this audio clip that we have already played, almost 4 minutes long. This is the one where I mentioned that I was just basically repeating myself, where towards the last 30 seconds of the audio clip, it got all distorted. This is an audio clip we've already played. So once again, this person, behind Flowverse is just basically trying to paint the picture that I am to blame. He's pointing the finger at me. He continues to assume that I am a Piplogic. See how he keeps calling me Piplogic Paul, which again shows you that this person doesn't know what he's talking about and he's very misinformed. But what's worse is that this person behind Flowverse and TJ, who is, I'm assuming, sharing the information with Flowverse, if they're not the same person, they are purposely neglecting to cover the entire conversation. They're hiding the full context, which I actually find hilarious because if you scroll down to the comments, Flowverse comments on his own video saying that he is providing clarity and context, which obviously isn't true, because if he was providing clarity and context, he would be showing the entire conversation as I am doing right now. So it's just really disingenuous, the fact that this person is pretending to act like he is trying to find justice. And in doing so, he is blaming the wrong people. He's making false accusations. He's spreading lies and spreading rumors. And more importantly, which is the most disingenuous part, he is given but a fraction of the entire conversation, just sharing a couple of voice notes, but at the same time also deleting comments from his videos from anyone who doesn't believe his narrative. So does that sound like an honest person to you? I don't think so.
So with that being said, before we close this video, I want to share one final message from Piplogic. There was an incident where the Pammbridge website was temporarily inaccessible, like people weren't able to log in. So this naturally caused a lot more panic. So it was like that for like a few hours. It's not like that anymore. The site is still up. So Piplogic made an announcement stating that the website was back. However, the amount of threats and accusations we received about supposedly being involved with the Pammbridge rug pull or delayed withdrawals is honestly shocking. Let's be clear. Why would we ever work with Pammbridge to steal money and still be here under the same brand, trading live, and now operating with a regulated broker on MT5? Right? That's a very, very fair question. Like, why would they make the transfer from Pammbridge to a regulated broker if their intention is to steal people's money? Why not just keep everything as is on Pammbridge and continue to steal people's money? Like, no, like it doesn't make sense. So continues. If we were scammers, our pages would be gone. We wouldn't still be trading live and showing verified results up to 2.5% today. We wouldn't be sending daily signals or communicating with the community. A real scammer disappears. We're still here, trading, transparent, and focused. We moved to said broker because our EA performs better there. Higher gains, same risk. This move was made to benefit the community, period. To clarify, Pammbridge handles deposits and withdrawals. We, meaning Piplogic, we trade and earn only from profit shared based on results. Affiliates earn commissions. We are just as frustrated as you are with Pammbridge's delays. Honestly, it's ridiculous how slow they've been. We're not defending them at all, and we voiced our disappointment directly to their team. Some say posting updates is quote-unquote incriminating, which makes no sense. We only tried to keep everyone informed with Pammbridge when Pammbridge wasn't responding. And to be clear, we only call this a scam if there's concrete proof. Website gone, no withdrawals processed, no communication at all. Many of you have shown us Pammbridge's recent email updates, which proves they're still active even if delayed. Until there's real evidence they disappeared, we won't make false claims or spread panic. For now, we'll continue doing what we do best: trading, sending signals, and growing accounts on said broker. A scammer hides. We are still here, trading, performing, and communicating. So with that said, folks, two things I want to apologize for. For one, this very, very long-winded video. Did not mean it to be this long, but as you could see, there was a lot of information and a lot of context that needed to be reviewed. But I also do apologize for what's happening with Pammbridge. Now, granted, I don't have any control over what happened with Pammbridge. I have $60,000 stuck in that Pammbridge platform, just like the majority have also money stuck in that platform as well. We're all waiting for their withdrawals. And we're right now, at this point, at the time of creating this video, we are all in a state of limbo where we're just waiting. But also, too, I want to apologize for my part in promoting this service, and not against Piplogic, but because of the actions of Pammbridge. Because we were all very excited when we finally had an automation solution, and we had a flawless experience with them, with Pammbridge, for what, 10, 11 months? And when I say flawless, again, I'm emphasizing that of everything that you can think of, the trading, deposits, money transfers, compoundings, and daily access to our profits and withdrawals whenever we wanted, it was perfect. Everything was perfect until the announcement of the transition where Piplogic wanted to move away from Pammbridge and to the regulated broker. That's when everything pretty much shit the fan. But I am sorry that we are now stuck in this situation, that some people got into this opportunity because they saw that I was getting involved in. And they made the decision, well, if Paul's going to get into it and he seems to be making good results and other people are making good results, I'm going to join it too, right? But again, this is one of those things that we have to be mindful of, that I've said so many times. I say it in all of my videos. I even say it in my trading videos, my educational content videos. And I've even said it in the voice note in that conversation, that trading and investments, and specifically trading, whether you're trading through an automation platform or you're trading on your own, any type of trading and investments always carry risk. There is always a variable of loss. What type of variable causes that loss? That's going to vary depending on the situation. And in this case, the variable is Pammbridge. I am very upset with Pammbridge and how they are handling this situation. Upset is not it. I'm pissed off. I'm very pissed off with how Pammbridge is handling this situation. And I'm just judging this based off of past experience. And I'm sure many of you can relate that whenever there is a time where there's all of a sudden delays in withdrawals, in most cases, that's never a good sign, right? And it also makes me wonder, it's like, well, what did Pammbridge do with the money? Did they blow it? Did they spend it? Did they mismanagement? Did they steal it? Like, I don't know if these are going to be questions that we'll ever get answers to, but I hope that this video has provided more clarity into some of the rumors that have been spreading. And while we do cross our fingers in hopes for the best that Pammbridge will honor their word in processing the withdrawals, we're going to focus on the future, on bigger and better things. In the midst of this chaos, Piplogic is continuing to do right by us, where they've been now trading live and openly public for the last week with the broker. So fingers crossed for all of us who are waiting for withdrawals, including myself. But at the same time, we're going to keep our eye on the future. We're going to keep rolling ahead. We're going to continue to provide education, live sessions, trade alerts, signals, value, and continue to build a stronger foundation for the future of this community. So thank you guys for listening. Take care. Good night. And we'll see you on the next one.